Dante Rivera, welcome to Jits and Giggles. We were going to get you on the podcast anyway, but
Yes.
we expedited it due to the finger seen around the world.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes. So I'm going to tell my background real quick just to explain how I got involved in this whole thing.
Okay.
So I was coaching at Grappling Industries on Saturday. I was coaching one of my students, and across the mat, the fight broke out.
Okay.
And so I was distracted, but I was like, whatever, it's probably just grown men being grown men. And so then the little girl's parents wrote me later and were like, we caught the fight in the background. You got to see this. So obviously I watch it back.
Yes.
I see the guy give the finger. We don't really have much context. I post it to the Jits and Giggles account, and then the blanks were kind of filled in through comments.
Yes.
Then we realized that it was something to do with your gym.
Yes.
So now I want to hear your side story. Start by telling me, when was the first time you heard about it? Like, who told you first?
One of my students messaged me and said something's going all over the internet with somebody from your academy.
Yeah.
And then I checked, and I knew it was one of the coaches because I had a guy fighting in Madison Square Garden the same day, so I was in New York for that.
Right.
And I had no idea he was actually competing, but the kid does compete almost every week.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, unfortunately, the coaches can't make a competition every single week.
Of
you know what I mean?
course, yeah.
So they told me the situation, and I went and saw it, and I saw instantly who it was.
Right.
It's one of my students' fathers.
So the little boy, we won't use names, but how old is he?
I believe he's about 9 or 10. He's
9
a
or
very
10.
good kid, trains very hard.
I was about 9, so that sounds right.
Yeah.
So the dad trains here as well?
No, he does not train jiu-jitsu
Just
at all.
the child?
He does not train jiu-jitsu at all, just the child.
Gotcha. Do you know them pretty well then?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the story? You spoke to the dad, correct?
Yes.
What was the story you got from him?
His story was he mistook, I guess he mistaken, or he thought that after the gi match, he started crying cold because he's emotional. He just he's competitive. He wants to win.
The son, yeah.
Yeah, not disrespectful. He's just a competitive kid.
Yeah.
And then he mistook her for doing like crying eyes at him. And then apparently he thought she did it again. And then he got emotional and, did something he shouldn't have did. He let his emotions take over.
Right.
He said, I was sticking up for my kid and, I got upset,
Right. So he thought he saw the little girl give his
Yes,
son
like
a
crying
mocking,
eyes,
like
yeah.
crying eyes.
Yes, which when they saw the video, I mean, her father pointed out that she wasn't doing that. So.
Okay, because you can't see it on the video because the ref from the match I was
Yes.
coaching steps in so you can't see it. So then when the little girl went up to shake his hand, he was offended. He mocked her
Yes.
back, and then he gave her the
I
finger.
don't think he mocked her. I think he asked, why are you making a crying face? And he gave her
Oh,
the
that's
finger.
why he made the crying
Yes.
face to ask.
Yes.
And then he just,
Gave
as
her
he
the
put
finger.
it, instinctively gave her
Yes.
the finger.
Which I do not condone because I don't care what she did.
Right.
I don't care if she hit your kid.
Right.
Like, she's a 9-year-old girl.
Right.
She's a kid. You're an adult. There's no excuse for it. You shouldn't have did it.
Right.
You have to keep your composure. There's plenty of times I coach. Everybody sees me in all the tournaments. Anybody who's in this community sees me in all the tournaments. I'm coaching 15, 20 kids, and I have plenty of little kids get disrespectful. And you know how I beat that? I still give them a hug and a high five. You beat my kid, good. High five. They're children.
Yes.
The reason some children need jiu-jitsu more than others, so the kids that are being disrespectful, they don't want to need jiu-jitsu more.
Right.
Our goal is not to be like, oh, what are you doing, and give them a finger or get mad at them. It's to guide them in the right direction. And usually killing them with kindness is the best way,
Right.
I never get upset at a kid. I don't let a kid, people see me on the mat, like my school's huge. I'll have 40, 50 kids. As you see now, as the kids going on, there's 40 kids on the mat right now. You have to be very patient.
Of course.
To be able to handle
Absolutely.
45, 50 kids in one class.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of patience with the kids because I love kids,
Right.
And everybody knows me. And just to make clear the record, you shouldn't do that to an adult. If an adult was disrespectful, I'd pull them aside and be like, listen, man, I've been doing this a long time. I'm a 4th degree black belt. There's no reason to disrespect. I would speak to him. I wouldn't just give him a finger,
Right.
That's just
so. A lot of people are filling in the blanks, filling in the context. There's a lot of people coming on and saying the little girl deserves it. She started it. What do you have to say to those people that are defending his actions and saying he was just giving it back?
I'm going to tell you right now that the father comes here. I see him a lot. I see the mother. I see the father. Cole's here every day. I'm friends with the father, and I disagree with that. Even though he's my friend, there's no reason to give the girl a finger. I don't care what she did. You're an adult. She's a kid, period.
Right.
Now, if Cole did it, that's understandable. 2 kids going after each other, okay?
Right.
But you're an adult. You're supposed to know better than a kid. So there's no excuse at all. I don't care what she did. Period.
Absolutely.
So,
There's a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, people are being soft by getting upset. It's just a finger. He didn't put his hands on the kid. but my opinion is it's still
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Right. So now, what's the story? You talked to the little girl's
Yes,
father.
who was a complete gentleman, and his exact words, which make sure you do not throw that kid out of jiu-jitsu. He needs jiu-jitsu or anything.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very commendable. I thought it was very respectful, and I have
Absolutely.
a lot of respect for that man for that.
Yeah.
And that's a true martial artist.
Yeah.
He's not like throw them both out the school
Right.
and that. He's like, listen, the father's going to pay the consequence, but the kid shouldn't suffer for it.
Right.
And the kid, I see a lot of people that throw him out. You don't throw the kid did nothing.
Yeah, it's not his fault. His
You
dad
know?
acted that way.
And what do we teach the kid if you do that?
Yeah.
That other people should be punished for other people's actions. So if your mother goes out, God forbid, the next day somebody else and gets a DUI, should we put the whole family in jail?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
It just doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
He was actually, the father of the little girl actually told me that Cole walked over, shook his hand, and was respectful.
Yeah,
And
and
then
that's
he gave
how it
him
looked, yeah.
and he gave him a couple tips on a choke, and he was responsive. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
He did the right thing as a coach. You know what I mean?
Correct. What was his side of the story? Like, you said she wasn't mocking him, so what was his side of the story?
He said my daughter didn't mock, and then somebody pointed out to me from another video that she wiped her hair out of her face.
And it was
So
he
it was
thought,
mistaken for that. Yeah, but if you see the video, it looks like she was just clearing her face.
Right.
But from his angle, maybe it looked like that.
Gotcha. And obviously, even
Exactly.
if she did, it doesn't warrant
It doesn't
his
matter.
response.
Even if she did, you don't give
But-
the kid a finger. That's it.
Even worse that
You don't curse at a kid.
Yeah.
You don't give him the finger. That's it. You just don't do that. You got to be the
Absolutely.
adult. And you know what? He knows. You know, he told me, he says, I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I did a stupid thing. You know, I messed up. And people are like, oh, I'll do this and that. Like, he's paid a big consequence. He paid for a lifetime membership from that.
he paid.
Has a lifetime membership for a son. But they're both banned from that. So they lose the money for that.
Gotcha.
So he's banned. He can never coach another tournament. I actually went and I purchased a lifetime membership for the girl
Nice.
that it was done to. So
Very sweet.
And he's getting a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
What I don't like is his wife. They found the wife's Instagram and they're sending her messages,
Right.
which is unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Whoever's doing, they need to stop sending her threats.
Yeah, it's
We're
not
gonna
her fault.
catch you. She's scared.
Yeah, it's
A
terrible.
woman shouldn't be scared of, like, he did something wrong, but that's no reason to start threatening the son and the wife.
Of course.
He did something, like, he knows he's wrong.
Yeah.
The man called me up and crying, literally,
Yeah.
not like almost in tears, like in tears,
Yeah.
knowing he did wrong. And he got yelled at by me. It's not fun to get yelled at by me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right off the back, I wasn't nice about it at all. And he knows that at one point I told him, I said, listen, stop going. If you're going to apologize. Don't make excuses for what you did. He goes,
Right.
you're right. You're right. I shouldn't have did that. Like, what she did was wrong no matter what. When I say she did, come to find out that she didn't, whether she did or not, you can't do things like that. And he knows it. Look, he's paying the price. And I don't understand what people want more. Some people are like, oh, what do you want? Me to beat him up? You want me to lock him in a cage and ground and pound him? Like, he made a mistake, which was a horrible mistake, and he's going to pay the price.
Right.
And we're thinking of ways, it took away because he was if you see him, he's at every tournament coaching his kid. Now he can't do that no more.
Right.
So he cost himself some peace of mind. And people coming out, I believe people even wrote bad reviews on his business that hurt his business.
Right.
Like a bunch of them, like he's paying a consequence for it, So,
Right.
and he knows, and that's what it is. You do something wrong, you pay a consequence.
Yes.
But if we pay a consequence, you shouldn't go overboard with the consequence.
Of course. I was going to just say, do you feel the punishment fits the crime at this point?
I feel if he wasn't remorseful, like if I spoke to him and he wasn't remorseful, then I would be like, no, excuse my language, fuck that,
Yeah.
But I could tell he is,
Yeah.
It's hard to, like the way he was crying to, like it's hard to, and
Of
I'm
course.
not saying this so people feel bad for him.
Right.
I'm saying this so I could tell who's remorseful. He's got a punishment.
Right.
I took it under my own hands, even though I had nothing to do with it, and it's not a reflection of my academy. I just thought it's somebody from my academy, so I wanted to get her do something nice for
Of
the young girl
course, yeah.
who trains hard. If you look at her Instagram, I seen her at tournaments. I know the father. Father was always a gentleman, respectful every tournament I see him at.
Yeah.
Okay, and that little girl trains hard.
Yeah.
For this to be put a little tarnish on it, so I thought, you know what? Let me do something nice for this girl and get her a nice lifetime
Yeah.
membership for
That's
it.
awesome. I'm sure the dad was
Yes.
thankful for that.
Oh, he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
I've been talking to him, and he's understanding. He's a gentleman. He's very he's a martial artist.
Right.
So he understands,
So now I saw some comments. A couple of the refs chimed in and were saying that the dad of the little boy was rude at other matches. So it sounds like he had somewhat of a reputation at least that day. How are you handling it? Obviously, I know what you did for the little girl. How are you handling it with him?
Well, the thing is that I tell parents, I said, if you do not know how to coach, you don't know what you're talking about, you shouldn't be coaching.
Right.
Okay, now I understand if you have a young kid and coaches aren't present, because I didn't know he was competing, and if there's no coaches present, excuse me, I understand not putting a kid alone.
Right.
When there's another coach screaming, you got to have some type of support.
Right.
So that I understand. But this is what happens when you don't understand jiu-jitsu to the fullest. Like, is the father here every day? Yes. But I have instructors who's been instructing every day for years. Doesn't mean they understand the rules.
Right.
Sometimes I'm a 4th degree black belt. I've competed in jiu-jitsu over 250 times. I have over 30 MMA fights, and I get the rules wrong sometimes. Sometimes I forget, or sometimes rule set is different. So if I get it wrong, and I've been teaching jiu-jitsu, I've been doing jiu-jitsu 26 years, it's very easy for a guy who only watches jiu-jitsu for a year to get it wrong. So that's why I tell parents, if there's coaches there, leave the coaching up to the coaches. You know, especially if you're in the academy, you can't be screaming from the sidelines.
Right.
You know, sometimes you get parents like, oh, dude, it's not a competition in
Right.
class. In class, they're testing each other to get better. That's it. It's not
Absolutely.
like you should be coaching them.
Did you make any type of a speech or talk to any of the other parents at your gym to kind of?
The parents came in here. They know me. They know. They listen. When it comes to the kids, there's a lot of people that know me. A lot of people that don't. I'm always with the kids. Like I take the kids on field trips out of my own pocket. I just rented a whole pool club. The month I have 70 kids there 2 months ago. I'm always doing stuff with this. I like the kids, so they know. They know I don't have to give. They know how I feel about how you act to kids. They see my patience and they know what's right or wrong. You know. And this guy knows it too. He just his emotions get the better of him. You know, that's it.
Yep.
He's a bit of an emotional guy, and he lets his emotions get the best of him. He knows what's right or wrong. He knows he's wrong.
Yep.
He knows he shouldn't have did that. He's not in the background saying like, no, forget that. You know, I mean, he tried to justify it a little bit. So I think maybe to save face for himself.
Yep.
But then he finally realizes like he told me, he's like, I don't care what you did. I should have did that.
Absolutely.
And that's the main goal. The main goal is we learn from our mistakes.
Yep.
I did a mistake. Own up to it, and that's it. I see a lot of people online are like, at least he owned up to it, own up to it, but don't make excuses. Own up to it and leave it at that. That's it.
Right.
And let it, and then learn from it.
Yep.
You know, maybe this is a learning thing. Maybe he needed something like this to happen for him to be like, you know what? Maybe let me get my emotions in check.
Right.
Maybe I should do something to calm myself down or things of that nature. Maybe this will actually help him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't believe I did this. I'm a fuck up like this and like. So maybe this is a wake up call for him. And sometimes in life we need a wake up call.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I do think, he's already kind of had the punishment, like you said, of the backlash of the jiu-jitsu community.
Everywhere,
he got physically
he got
hit.
physical abuse, verbally abused. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't understand when people want more they want.
Yeah.
I'm never going to throw the kid out for something he did.
Right.
I don't care if anybody is upset with that or what. The boy did nothing wrong. Even the girl's father told me specifically, make sure that kid stays in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, which is really
as
nice.
a gentleman.
Yeah.
All right. So if he's telling me that, nobody else has the right to be like, oh, he should not get punished for his father's actions.
Right.
That's it.
So now moving forward, that little boy goes to other competitions. I'm assuming you're not going to want the father
I'm
there.
going to be there.
You're
going
to be there.
I'll be there. I'm usually at all the competitions. Just I had a guy fighting in Madison Square Garden that took precedent over a kid's tournament.
Of course. That makes sense. Yep. And everybody's asking, where's the fight? Where's the fight? I withheld the fight from Instagram because, you can't have a lawsuit over giving a child the finger, but you can over
you can
a fight.
that.
So
Yes,
for people asking, that is why the fight is
you know what? The people, shame on them. Let me see. I want to see. Why do you want to see somebody get punched in the
exactly.
face? For what?
Yeah.
Is your life that dull that you need to see somebody get punched in the fucking face?
The answer is yes.
Like I don't even go on this. Like I go on Instagram because I have my jiu-jitsu school. That's it. Otherwise, I don't really care what nobody else does. That's it.
Cool.
I don't even look at it.
Any other final thoughts about this topic?
I hope people lay it to rest. I hope people take this into consideration. Do not threaten his wife with a kid. Do not see the kid at the tournament and be mean to him. He did nothing wrong. The father paid the price. He got berated by me for a long time, okay, which is not fun. Okay, he got put in his place. He can't coach. He's banned. A lot of things happen, all right?
Yeah.
A lot of things
His
got put in
business
place.
page.
His business page, his wife being threatened. He got punched in the face.
Yeah, like anything else.
If you see, he's in a tournament every week. He's at every tournament. Now he can't coach ever again or be in a tournament. So,
Right.
I mean, he's hurt.
Yes.
So
So
unless you guys have any suggestions, you guys want me to kill him behind closed doors, let me know. What else would you guys will make the rest of the community happy? You know, you want me to choke him to death?
public
What's wrong?
public
Yeah.
hanging. Okay.
Yeah, public hanging. Yeah, like the poor guy. Like,